All right. All right, all right, all right. How's everyone doing today? welcome to welcome to the wrap up. So, let's see. Interesting day. Not super crazy. Drove up to Lincoln, Nebraska. Now I'm on my way to Fayetteville, Arkansas. Just doing the Home Depot thing. Delivering freight. It's all good. Uh, Rain. A lot of rain today. A lot of rain today. Oh, and hornets. Oh, God, hornets. So, I had the misfortune of being stunned by a hornet today. I don't even know, yeah, still a little bit there. It's not as bad as it was, because, it was bad. So, I pulled a trailer this morning, the one that was going to Lincoln, and, the marker light, the top left marker light on the the top right. Yeah, top right. The top right marker light, which is basically, you have those little orange lights and then you have the red lights in the back of the trailer. Yeah. Some people call them chicken lights. The top right marker light, when I hooked up to the trailer and kind of, was doing my pre-trip inspection, was literally just hanging out of its, spot, and the light wasn't even on. And I was just like, you gotta be kidding. How did the other driver who dropped this trailer off and was, supposed to do a post trip, how did they not see that? And then I was like, yeah, because people don't care and they don't do post trips. They just drop the trailer and go, it's so annoying when people don't do their job. Like, we're supposed to be professionals. And I get it. I'm not on my high horse, but at least, that's pretty obvious. You unhook from the trailer, you look like, oh, hey man, that light is just hanging. Nah. So anyways, I drove over to the maintenance shop, our little maintenance area, and I was like, hey guys, and they're like, no, go away. I was just like, come on. I can't drive with this like this, especially with the weather. It's not like, oh, it's a sunny day, just drive with your lights off. Like, no, it's gonna be raining all day today. I don't want to be pulled over by a DOT officer who's got nothing better to do. So they started working on it, and so we were standing outside. It hadn't started raining yet, and so we have these hornets that, there's a bunch of them, a lot of them, and they just hang out. They just hang out. They fly around. The hornets have learned that our windshields and our grills are full of dead bugs that we hit on the highway, and so it's like a smorgasbord for them. So whenever we come in, it's like 5 or 6 hornets will just fly up and they'll land on our windshields and they'll land on the grills and they'll, go to town, eating the dead bugs. I'm just like, okay, whatever. They don't bother us generally. But I was standing outside with one of the mechanics, and we were just chit chatting, talking about stuff. And the one guy was fixing the light on the trailer, and I was just talking to the other guy. And anyways, a hornet flew past him, and he just swatted it with his hat. I was like, bro, dude, you're gonna piss him off. And not even a minute later, I suddenly felt like a very sharp stinging pain, on my thigh, and I was like, ow! And I freaking hit my leg. And a hornet fell out of my shorts. I guess it flew up, into my shorts and was trying to I don't know, freaking find the lost treasure or something. Thank God it didn't get any higher than my thigh. But it stunned me, and I was pissed because that hurt like the dickens. And I knocked it out of my shorts and I stomped on it. And not even after that, 5 or 6 other hornets started fly and buzz around us. And we're just like, nope. I went back in my truck. He went up, kind of away from that spot. And the poor guy working up on the freaking, up on the trailer trying to get my light fixed, he kept getting swarmed by these hornets that were kind of pissed that we had killed one of their buddies. And so he was shooing them away and stuff. And luckily he was wearing shot pants, and stuff, so he wasn't getting attacked. At least he could shoo them away. But these buggers were persistent, man. They were pissed that we killed one of their buddies. And anyways, I was like, dang, dude. And it got like a little like red spot rash, like about that big around, and it was all swollen. And I was like frick. And it's not hurting really right now, like not actively hurting, but like if I touch it, like, yeah, it's still kind of tender. And so I was like, dang, that made me upset. I was like, wow. So, but it's about to be winter again, so I guess, I won't be wearing as much shorts as I am. I'll be wearing pants again, so hopefully that won't happen again. But that was dumb. It was dumb. Hornets. But yeah. So, anyways, that happened, and the drive up to Lincoln was uneventful. Dropped a trailer, came back, had to do some training. Now I'm on my way down to Arkansas, and luckily I was able to find this little truck stop. I missed the truck stop I wanted to stop at. I missed the exit. I was like, dang. And then I was like, well, I only got 30 minutes left, so I need to actually find a place to park. And I was like, well, there's another truck stop up ahead. It's a small one. I was like, I'll just go for that one. So I got here and parked, and not bad. But yeah, that's pretty much my day today. I guess I kind of segue into this. Are you guys concerned? I don't know. You might be watching this video. If you're watching this video, you might be watching it way later. Maybe some crazy stuff does happen. But are you all concerned about the intensity and the tempo that is picking up in our politics? Basically, within this last week alone, we've had 4 leftist, actual terroristic attacks on ICE vehicles, and they actually boxed in an ICE vehicle and were ramming it with their cars, and ICE actually had to shoot a lady who was armed. And the governor of Oregon and the governor of Chicago and Gavin Newsom in California, who's Chicago, Pittsburgh or whatever his Job of the Hut. yeah, I know we shouldn't be mean, but these guys are annoying. Anyways, they're all like, Trump doesn't have the authority to deploy the National Guard. And it's like, yeah, he does, per the Constitution. He literally does have the authority to deploy the National Guard as commander-in-chief. But we've got these judges, which reminds me of, stories in the Book of Mormon, where it was the judges that were committing evil and doing evil against the people. Yeah, same thing going on here. These judges are doing evil and committing evil amongst the people. We have all the violence, we have the Antifa stuff going off. I mean, things just seem to be getting more and more crazy, which is why I'm really glad, extremely glad that, we agreed to the seller's counter offer on the land that we're looking at. We signed the document today, so hopefully that gets approved. We sent we have maybe 3 or 4 things we have to send to the lender to finish their side of it, but we're about to be actual landowners of acreage on a mountain in Oklahoma. Bro, I'm kind of, I'm not gonna say I'm surprised. It's just, I didn't think this would happen. When I first saw this property 6 or 7 months ago, I was like, wow, this is beautiful. It spoke to me. There was a feeling I had. I was like, this should be it. This could be the land. And then, I kind of gave up after a few months, because I was like, well, we're not ready yet, and it's probably going to get sold. And I wasn't even looking at it. For 4 months, I didn't even look at it. And then a lot of stuff happened, and we're actually in a position where we can actually buy, and we started looking at houses again. And one day I just had this feeling. I was like, let me go see if that piece of property is still on the market. And it was. And I was like, dang, it's still on the market. And so, we started circling it, we went and saw it, and we felt right about it, and some things happened that made us feel like it was a good thing that y'all wanted for us, like he approved of us doing it, and like y'all willing, everything goes well, we're about to be landowners. And I get it, there's not a house on the property, it's got a little hunting cabin, but there's a lot of work to be done. Like, I'm not kidding myself, it's going to be an off-grid homestead. There is no grid up there. There is no city water. There's no sewer. There's no electricity. We're going to have to build our own wells. We're going to have to do rainwater collection. We're going to have our own solar and propane generator. We're looking at options right now on how we're going to deal with the bathroom situation, and we're looking at the cost of septic tanks. But honestly, we're also like considering doing composting toilets and having a human compost, manure pile, which I know that sounds really gross, but I've literally watched videos on YouTube of people who do that. And, they actually turn, your waste back into usable compost that you can put back in your gardens. And like there's a way to do it where you cook out all the parasites. Doug and Stacy from what's their channel called? Is it just Doug and Stacy? I don't remember, but Doug and Stacy do that. They have composting toilets, and there's a whole system that you have to do it in a certain way, but there's a whole system that it works. It's just like having like animal compost. It's a whole system. And so there's a part of me like we're probably gonna get a septic system at some point. No, not even probably. We will get a septic system at some point. When we build the house, because the plan is to basically get established on the land. We're gonna upgrade our camper to a new camper that's winterized, all season, and get set up there. And then once we get about a fourth of the land paid off, we're gonna reapply for a construction loan so that we can have a house built up there. And y'all willing, that's assuming that the world doesn't go crazy, but y'all willing, we'll actually have a nice house up there. We'll have our own solar, and supposedly, according to the realtor, the power company is making its way up the mountain. So there could be a possibility that down the road we might actually be on grid when it comes to power, which would be cool to an extent, but I kind of like the idea of just being my own power company. Zach from American Homestead, he talks about this a lot, being your own power, being your own water. You don't have to worry about, is this ethically sourced power, or is this water actually clean water, and not got pharmaceutical waste in it and all that stuff that they can't filter out. There is a what's the word I'm thinking of? There's an appeal to that. It's kind of a neat idea to actually be your own. Now, that does mean that when things go down, you have to also be your own maintenance. But that's kind of the idea of self-sufficiency and being independent, right? Like Bear says, the whole reason he named his channel Bear Independent was because he wanted to be independent of the fragile and broken system. Yeah, it's fragile and it's very broken, and honestly, it'd be really cool if the power grid went down. Oh, cool. We have our own solar and our own batteries, and if it's not sunny or if it's cloudy or whatever, we also have a propane generator that can charge the battery system. We have backup batteries. We have, the ability to make our own power. We have the ability to pump our own water out of the ground, with wells. We get our own clean water, not from a city. Tap water is disgusting. I've gotten to the point where we filter our water at least once, if not twice, through water filters, Brita filters. We had a a Berkey. We had a Berkey, you know, the steel Berkey, and we used that at the Suffolk House a lot, you know, and we you know, I really like, you could taste the difference in the water. It was definitely tasted better, you know, because it was actually filtered and they didn't have all that, you know, chlorine and taste, you know, that chlorine taste in it. So anyways, before I go too long into this video, I just, you know, it's one of those things where I hope it all works out. You know, it looks like we got pre-approved for the lending process and we make enough money, like, and we're gonna save a ton of money. Like, it's gonna be crazy, but we're gonna, like, once we move down there to the land and we just have the land payment, you know, plus groceries and whatever, you know, cost it's going to cost us to start setting up power. But basically we won't have like a lot of utilities or anything. So really we're going to have like $3,000 a month in savings that we can allocate after groceries and our mortgage or our land payment. We're gonna have like $3,000 that we can, you know, decide what to do with. So Yah has blessed us, you know, and hopefully in that blessing I'll be able to find something that I can be home more and maybe not driving trucks so much, but maybe going into something else. So anyways, that's the wrap up for the day. I'm tired. I still need to cook my dinner. I got some soup and some steak I'm gonna eat. Yeah, steak. I do cook steak in the truck. I might have to do a truck cooking video sometime, but not tonight. All right. Thanks for stopping by. Shalom.